Innovation requires 3 steps. First of all, you ought to know the facts. It is important to completely understand the facts. Secondly, you ought to know the interests and the aims of the client. You ought to be familiar with his political, economical, technical background. And thirdly, you start thinking legally. You have to have a thorough knowledge of the law, of course, of the basic principles. And it is like having sort of white paper in front of you. On the left-hand side, you've got the facts and the legal principles. On the right-hand side, the client's needs. And then you start thinking openly with an attitude of, not an attitude of this is not going to work because, but an attitude of there must be a solution and let's try and find it. To get new ideas, it is essential to step back, to look at the whole picture, just go 3 steps behind, be open-minded and think of solutions without thinking of the legal restraints. On a very high level, I'm enthusiastic in music and law. Sometimes I'm thinking, doing law, of a fugue from Johann Sebastian Bach, which is very, very rational, but also, where it is at its best, it is unrational and new. The ideal solution and an innovative solution always ought to be a perfect and excellent solution.
The city has become faster and more frenetic. I've been working in the city since 1980. It's a very different place to when I started. What are the really difficult things about being a lawyer today? I would say that one of the key things is trying to predict how you stay relevant, how you stay useful, how you stay needed. Being a global firm, we're in over 25 offices around the world. The skills that are really important then are doing the impossible to bring a global project to successful completion as smoothly as possible. On work such as the Gavi Fund, you do need a wide range of skills. The net result was that people really had needles in their arms. One word that comes to mind is orchestration. The next skill I would go to pretty quickly would be control and organizational skills. So you're in the role of enabler and facilitator. The key skills of a lawyer in the modern age come back to the ability to get things done.
My sense of adventure, it's basically driven everything I do. I guess part of my DNA is being adventurous. I wouldn't have gone to Hong Kong at the age of 23 if I wasn't. And I have tried to seek out new experiences. I've tried to create new journeys for myself. I practiced all over Asia. So that has now incentivized me. And now that I'm spearheading Mishkon's approach back into Asia, I decided to take up Mandarin. So for me, I would say what makes an innovative lawyer is somebody who is prepared to explore and try out things. You've got to be prepared to take some risk. And clients want lawyers who take managed risks. That's what I found out in over the last 33 years of practice. I think boldness is critical for progress. I don't think any of the great innovators and inventors and explorers could have done what they have done without being bold and courageous and willing and passionate about taking on that next risk and finding out how they react to it and what they need to do in order to overcome it. So to me, it's part and parcel of being an explorer.
The experience I had of being in 2 jurisdictions actually informed everything that happened thereafter. Another way of saying diverse is having an open mind, realizing that you don't have the answers necessarily and that you're going to need people with different disciplines and skill sets to help you get to the answer. The team at the beginning is critical, I think, because if you go down a certain path, you have to be able to continually reassess why you're going down that path. And the more people you have with different disciplines and strengths on the path, the more you can reassess. We use a phrase at Fulbright about, how do we differentiate ourselves? The silo, in the end, isn't creative. It isn't conducive to really providing sometimes the best results for the clients, because the legal answer is sometimes not the whole answer. I think having an understanding of another legal system has helped a great deal be what I've called a bridge between clients and their problems in different jurisdictions. I think it's been very helpful, certainly to me, to differentiate myself, to have that understanding, and then to be able to help clients and explain and navigate through the differences. I think it was John Kennedy who said that of those to whom much is given, much is also required. And I think that for me, it's just been part of the comfort and the making life worthwhile to give back in a small way some of what I've been given.